All right.
Being
Let's try the Let's try that. Much better than last time. So, a little practice with the Falcon each week helped quite a bit. It has 2 shield segments now. Conventional light 13 has 4 shield segments, I think it's very modified craft. And as you can maybe tell before, there are 3 sets of controls for primary weapons for the Falcon. You can have full manual control, where both guns shoot forward. Primary weapons. Is that better? Thanks. Alright, we'll move on to another mission now. Does the commentary sound any better? Looks like we can hear the commentary now, which is good. Excellent. Okay, so we'll try a different mission now with some different craft. And once the mission starts, if you can't hear me again, just let me know. So conventional X-Wing, we've seen that a few times, but I'll do a quick run through with that. Also with this mission I've added the E-Wing and the N1 Starfighter as along with the Falcon. So we'll try the E-Wing just because we haven't seen much of that. And we'll check the weapons loadout. Very similar to an X-Wing's weapon. It's a little bit more maneuverable, a little more modern. And as you can see, this one has a fully formed cockpit as well, thanks to Limbert, our expert cockpit modeler. And this one, we're fighting some interceptors. I got lucky on that one. Usually they're a little harder to hit. Head-on, sometimes you can get a few. You can see the exterior model. And the ship's going to blow up right here, probably hit me with a bit of a shockwave. And as you can see, the interceptors themselves are very maneuverable. Have to do a lot of banking while turning to even line up a shot. And this is on one of the more difficult AIs for the interceptors to hit. And really you can just get a good clean shot if you're on their 6, otherwise they're very hard to hit. We'll switch back into cockpit view. We can take a look around. The entire cockpit is modeled. It looks like we completed our objectives without me having to do a whole lot, which was nice. And we'll show off the E-Wing model a little bit. And with the E-Wing as well, you can link the fire. Oops, that's secondaries. There we go. So you can link fire like that, or stage fire. We'll turn the effects and music down a tiny bit. Hopefully that'll help also with the commentary. Comment says the cockpit looks great. Limbert, our cockpit modeler, who's done all of our cockpits and is currently working on the B-Wing, has done a fantastic job. And without him, we would not have cockpits or a really nice BFF bulk freighter. So we'll do an Imperial mission now that I've done a few times, but I keep losing it because the carrot keeps getting destroyed. But we'll start with the little larger of a battle. This one we have our can do a standard TIE fighter, TIE Advanced, TIE Interceptor Mark 1, TIE Interceptor Mark 2, a TIE Bomber, which is pretty fun, a V-38 Assault Fighter. So we'll give the TIE Advanced a try just to start, just to be extra fun. And we can see we automatically launch out of a Star Destroyer hangar bay. And there's a B-Wing pretty close by. I've got hit by this B-Wing, which is not very fun. Crank the speed a little bit. A question about the E-Wing's laser cannon. That's a good question. I'd have to look it up. I'd imagine the turret can slide. And we'll take out an X-Wing. And we'll switch to exterior view just to look at the pretty model, along with the interior and exterior parts of the model. There's a B-Wing, so you can see it has some ion cannons it's trying to use against me, which it used effectively. It's best to try and stay behind rebel craft if you're a TIE. For obvious reasons. They can take you out in a pass or two if they get good, but you can do the same to them. And you can notice the TIE Advance does have shields. It's the only TIE craft that has shields. And I'm also going to turn on burst mode, which is fires the lasers in a little faster of a burst, but then there's a longer wait time between them. Looks like the Star Destroyer is not doing so well. So we're going to try and clear the blast zone if we can. A little late for that, but we got to hit a little bit. Looks like there's an X-Wing right behind me. Should probably deal with him. He's being also very maneuverable. I think I got smacked by another B-Wing ion blast. They really like to use these against fighters, which can be annoying, because I have to wait for my targeting computer to come back if I have any chance of hitting an X-Wing. And I can at least stay behind him while it recharges. There we go. Targeting computer's back online. Looks like there's an A-Wing also flying around. So as you can see, Fate of the Galaxy... Oh, it looks like they're knocking out that station too. Trying to outmaneuver an A-Wing is tricky, but luckily they're very weak. They don't want the station. And he really doesn't want me to get behind him, which I don't blame him. 92%, and I'm at 20%. We'll just let him get ahead of us a little bit, because I can probably take a full-on blast at this point. I think all of my fighters are mostly dead, mostly just trying to shoot rebels now. So I'll switch to another mission. This is probably pretty boring watching me try and track down an A-Wing. And they really want to shoot me. That Y-Wing might be an easier target at the moment. And the downside of a TIE Advanced is it's not quite, you can't crank all the power into lasers because you still need some for the shields. So it can't quite shred things as quickly as an Interceptor, for example, if you want to have any power left in your shields. And Y-Wings, as you can see, are also very tough. And I should order the wingman to, normally I would order them to cover me. But for now, we're just going to hop out and do a different mission. And that mission is not balanced at all. I mainly just made it to do live stream testing. So we'll try an actual interceptor mission. So now I have some wingmen I can actually order around. This is a hopefully more balanced mission because someone actually made this mission. And I'm going to put most of my energy into lasers and actually order my wingmen to do things. And we can look around the TIE cockpit real quickly just for fun. We can look out the top window and the back window if we want. And interceptors fire very quickly, but they also drain their energy reserves very quickly. And you can hear that there's an incoming laser, or a missile, probably from one of those Z-95s. In Fate of the Galaxy, we really put a focus on primary weapons, like that we see in the original trilogy. So, Interceptor has a lot of speed, maneuverability, and firepower. The downsides, your auto-aim circle's a bit smaller than the TIE Fighter, and you drain your energy reserves faster. But you can pretty much get behind anybody's tail and stay there. Just like that. So it is a fun craft to fly around in, albeit a very fragile one. Very much a glass cannon. So tapping into him also works a little bit. Matching speed is very useful, otherwise you're going to be overshooting your targets quite a bit, especially in the TIE where their acceleration is a bit better. Looks like all of us are teaming up on this one X-Wing, which is not a good day for him. There's some Y-Wings inbound, so I'm going to tell everybody to kill that ship. They're probably going to be shooting some bombs soon. And I am playing on the hardest difficulty, so usually I'm not able to save this craft, because I'm mainly streaming and testing, and not really focused on the bombs too much. But we're going to take out at least one Y-Wing first, so that was good. We'll try to get this one as well. I should show off the Y-Wing and TIE bomber bomb dropping capabilities after this, because they're fun. But the AI has a special way to use them, because they cannot fire straight down. So they get a little extra bonus that the player doesn't get. So it looks like our escort craft is somehow still alive. Someone says that cruiser probably has drained. I would agree, it probably does. I should probably try and disarm this turret. That poor Carrack is almost dead. I'm amazed it lived. This is the first time I've got it to survive that initial Y-Ring attack. I'm going to try to disarm this Corvette. Let's see if there's any other turrets. Okay, looks like it's disarmed, so the Carrack should have a fun time just blasting it to pieces. And we'll try to stay clear of the blast zone, because TIEs can get caught in those pretty easily. We'll watch it just explode from here for fun. And this is about the farthest I've made it in this mission on Insane while live streaming, so this is good. There's a 5 hit point percentage left on the Carrack we're supposed to protect. But I think for the purposes of this mission, the rest of this mission is scanning, so it's not quite as exciting for live streaming. So we're going to quit there, and then we're going to try the Y-Wing bomb dropping capabilities. And we're going to try that in our large stress test mission. And someone said the explosions look different than an FSO. These are actually Diaspora's, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. These are their explosions, so they did a really nice job, and we're using their explosions given their permission. So it's a big community effort that we all share stuff with each other with FSO, so it's a great group of developers and modders. So we're going to do the Y-Wing bomb dropping capabilities now. So I'll show you guys that, which some of you probably have seen it before. But Y-Wings can fire torpedoes straight forward with proton torpedoes, and they can also drop magnetized bombs. So instead of an A-Wing, I'm going to be a Y-Wing. Pop that in. I'll give, I think Blue Squadron's the Y-Wings right now, so if I need some extra bomber support, I'll order them around. And we can see here there's the proton torpedoes launcher in the front, and there's a magnetized bomb bay in the back. And as you can see, the Y-Wing also has a custom cockpit done by Limbert. And this mission gets a little hectic, but you can watch the frame rate in the upper left to see how it's doing. I'm just going to order all fighters to do whatever they want to do, and accelerate to attack speed and pick a target. And before that, we're just going to look at the cockpit because it's really fun. We see our MC-80s back there. The Y-Wings are throwing out their proton torpedoes. I'm going to switch to the bomb bay and show you guys that. So here's the bomb bay. So it will drop magnetized bombs. And then you switch back, and you're back in the cockpit. So there's a lot going on. You can keep your eye on the frame rate. I do have a 1070 graphics card with all the post-processing effects on minus shadows. And it's holding about at 50, and this is with a lot of tabs open while live streaming, so the game's pretty well, can handle a good amount, pretty well optimized, just like any free space open based mod or game. And there's a lot going on, as you can see, and I really shouldn't be fighting an interceptor and a TIE bomber, but it's chasing somebody else at the moment, and it looks like my shields just went down, so I should probably deal with that. We'll go back to our MC-80 over here and maybe recharge our shields a bit. And there's a question that said we're using 2 shield quadrants. That is correct, because in the movies they only reference 2, and Fate of the Galaxy is using primarily any movie reference. Takes priority over anything else. So you can see the guns on the MC-80 firing. And a lot going on here, lots of waves of fighters. Again, we can take a peek around the cockpit while we're flying around. You can see the Nebulon B over on the right side there, along with the Corvette. And we'll do one more bombing run. And I just ran out of bombs. And now we're getting really battered by, I think, a fighter and the top batteries of the Star Destroyer. So we're going to switch out of here and try a different craft and different mission for fun. Oh, I think my engine's just died, so I can't actually jump to hyperspace, and that's what happens when you get too close to a Star Destroyer. Especially on the hardest difficulty. So someone asks, how big are the cruisers in length? They are what we see. We listed on here. You can look it up on the ship select. But they are based off the movie lengths and then whatever other sources we could find that collaborated with the movies. So we would take the original trilogy first as our primary source, and then we'd really dig into the sources in other areas to find what lengths and armaments and things other ships should have. So we'll just take a peek at the N1 real quick. I actually like the ship quite a bit, but that's because I remember playing it back in Rogue Squadron back in the day. So we'll show this off. It does not have a cockpit yet, so I'll stick it in external view. And it's more of an interceptor craft, but it does have a proton torpedo launcher. As you can see, the thrusters on the side. I forgot to switch the weapons back to its main armament. Someone always says boo whenever there's a prequel ship. That always makes me laugh. But as you can see, it's a very maneuverable ship, very small profile. And I'm mainly just flying around to show it off. We won't spend too long in it. But it can hop on an interceptor's tail quite a little bit easier than an X-Wing can. So we'll switch to... I don't think we've shown off A-Wings yet on the live streams. I think Count Bugula has done that, but we'll do it here really quickly. So we'll give the A-Wing a test. And one of the questions is someone should rebelify that N1. Actually, we do have a different texture for it that has a gray texture and it has a little bit different weapons. And we're thinking about if we have the time, if one of our modelers has the time to make it look like an older beat-up model with some of the wiring showing. So I'm going to switch to an A-Wing for this mission. Actually, let's do a Z95 first, because everyone always gives those crap, but we've made it actually an enjoyable, I think an enjoyable craft in Fate of the Galaxy. So Z95 is very maneuverable. It has some decent firepower. It's not the toughest craft by any means. It's kind of halfway between X-Wing and A-Wing. So if you want something that can survive a little longer than A-Wing, I like the Z95 for that reason. And we'll try to see how well we do against the TIE Interceptor that I just targeted. And yeah, lots of people think, oh, well, the Z95 is just a stepping stone in games until you get to the X-Wing. And we've tried to make that a little bit different here, where it's actually, hopefully, a more enjoyable craft to play. And I'm trying just to line up a good shot with this TIE Interceptor, because they are pesky little things to shoot down out of the sky. Or I could use the missile lock. But again, with interceptors it's a little trickier. There we go. And you can see we have a nice speed going for it. This one also has a cockpit. And after this one, we'll give the A-Wing a little showcase. That is, if you want to go real fast, the A-Wing's your craft. It is the fastest craft in the game minus the Falcon, but the one that has the most maneuverability and can accelerate the quickest. So the fun thing about these small craft is they can fit right in that part of the Star Destroyer, which is fun if you want to do a little impromptu trench. In our flotilla here that is shooting the Star Destroyer, we have a Dreadnought, a Rebel Dreadnought, a Marauder Corvette, and then a CR-90. And again, this right now is the game with no shadows on, but we do have dynamic lighting, you can tell, especially when you're looking at the Star Destroyer. And shadows do look very cool, but they do slow down performance considerably unless you have a really pretty good rig. And for live streaming, I like to keep the shadows off. So that interceptor kind of bounced into the Star Destroyer because I shot him and he tried to do evasive maneuvers going up, and we just got him. So Z95s are fun. Take a look at it. Oh, the Star Destroyer is going down. That's a nice cinematic shot right there. So personally, I kind of like the Z95, but we're going to do the X-Wing and the A-Wing next, because those are the classics that everybody has a feel for. So we're going to pop into here again. And it'll load. And the cool thing about the X-Wing that everybody knows about, obviously, is the S-foils. And we can take a look here. The weapons loadouts. And those of you who maybe haven't played a lot of FSO-based games or mods before, you can switch out your ships. It'll tell you stats about each ship right here. You can switch your wingman on what ship they should be, and then you can go here and switch which weapons they should have for primaries and secondaries. So Red Squadron will stay as an X-Wing squadron or group for this mission. We'll come out of hyperspace. And the fun part I always like to do is look at the S-foils and watch them open and close. Alright, now we'll actually get in the battle. And the X-Wing, as you can notice, can link its fire in all kinds of different ways, as one could expect. And the X-Wing is that really nice balance of firepower, maneuverability, and toughness. Alright. And we'll do the A-Wing, and then we'll take requests for anything else or answer any questions. And before we jump to hyperspace, you can see the S-foils will automatically close. And now we'll do the A-Wing. And this one has a really nice cockpit for visibility. You can look down and everywhere you can see above you. And I should have been maneuvering instead of looking around, especially with those interceptors trying to chase me around. But the A-Wing itself will pump up the shields to restore those a little bit and try to find the interceptor that's chasing me around. A-Wing is indeed a very fast craft, but it's a very weak craft, and it cannot carry proton torpedoes. But it can take out interceptors very nicely, like you just saw there. And the A-Wing can also link its fire, which I'll do here. He's a little too close. I'm kind of overshooting my auto aim. I should back up just a little bit. And it doesn't help I'm also reading comments as I'm flying. So the TIE fighters have a little more wider of a profile to hit. And this time we lost both Carracks. So another TIE fighter behind me. But again, if you're an A-Wing, and as long as you're maneuvering around, things will have a very tough time hitting you. We'll switch to the cockpit view just for fun. Or the targeting computer mode, which you can see has very fast lock-on missiles. And those can be very annoying if you're a TIE fighter trying to kill an A-Wing. You always want to stay behind it if possible. In Rebel ships, you can win those joust fights a little easier. Or we can switch to targeting computer mode again and just shoot it with the missile. And the A-Wing has a lot of missiles. There's still 9 left, so that might be a balancing thing we change eventually. But for now, it's a very potent anti-fighter craft, as it should be, but it cannot really do anything against a capital ship. Alright. Appreciate everybody coming on to the live stream. Great to see folks tuning in. The assault fighter, somebody asked about that. Yes, I remember that from earlier. Can it cloak? We don't have cloaking on it, but I'll show it off. And it's similar to the TIE Advanced, as whereas it's not a... It has a lot of firepower, but the energy reserves, since they're also going to shields, they're not quite as sustainable for fire rates as an interceptor or TIE fighter. And somebody asked, how lucky do you feel you don't have to deal with gunboats? Yes, we feel very lucky. That's a conscientious decision that we as a team in Fate of the Galaxy made, to not have to deal with gunboats, because they were not in the movies, and they are quite a bit overpowered, in our team's opinion, for gameplay purposes. So here's the assault fighter. It's got a lot of firepower. And it is maneuverable. It's kind of like the Imperial version of a cross between an X-Wing and a Y-Wing. And again, one of the rare Imperial craft that actually has shields and hyperdrive. But certainly not as maneuverable as an interceptor by any means. So we'll go one assault craft to another, attacking. Oh man, this X-Wing is literally right behind me. Try to shake him. This B-Wing is not cooperating with staying put for me. But as you can see, oh, he was down to 1%. One more shot would have done it. Apparently my AI wingmen in this mission are useless. The rate of fire on the assault fighter, it has, once you put all your energy into guns, it's pretty potent. But again, that means you don't get any shields. So we'll find another B-Wing just for fun. And again, on the assault fighter, we can link our fire like that, or like this. Flyable B-Wing. Yes, we do have a B-Wing with the rotating cockpit and S-foils, which I can show off. It's a bit of an in progress, but I'll do that as the final thing for the live stream today. Good question. and I'm not paying attention to where I'm flying. I'm not talking, so it looks like I'm an awful pilot, which I might be, but I'm an even more awful pilot when I'm live streaming, and I'm crashing into everything. So we're just gonna look. We're gonna sightsee this this station over here because I'm gonna die soon. So we'll just come over here and look at how pretty it is, along with the assault fighter. And the assault fighter has wingtips as well as that cockpit. Oh, I'm gonna crash soon. Oh, I see a bug that I should fix for the assault fighter. I need to move that damage gauge when you're inside the cockpit. So that's the other nice thing about these live streams, is we can find bugs. There goes the Star Destroyer. So because I'm in an assault fighter, I'm just going to get out of here. Someone asks, do we have a repair droid on fighters? And that is something that we do have. So units with an R2 unit, or I should say craft with an R2 unit, that have double the subsystem repair rates. And the players themselves also get a little boost of a repair rate. You'll see the damage gauge pop up and it'll say repairing this subsystem. So we do have that. And it goes faster if your ship has an R2 unit. And B-Wing, that was the last one I was going to do. And the B-Wing in Fate of the Galaxy is a bit unique. And I'll show that in a second here when I select the ship. There it is. Alphabetical. So we have an auto blaster or an ion cannon under the cockpit right here. Then our big ion cannons on the wingtips and the tail, and then right here on the tail is pretty much a light turbo laser to deal with large capital ships, and it can carry a lot of torpedoes, twice that of the X-Wing. So you can see the in-progress cockpit on the B-Wing right here. And you can also see the S-foils open and close. I'm going to order everybody to get off my tail and actually do something. So we're going to watch that again with the rotation. And then we'll pop back into attack position. And we'll go after some fighters. So it has the standard laser cannons on the wingtips like that. It also has ion cannons, which maybe I'll use against the Star Destroyer. And it also has the big turbo laser that I was talking about, which takes a lot of power and has a very low auto aim, but is really useful for taking on that heavy starship hull. Gun linking, that's a good question. So we'll switch to these, and you can do 3 at a time or 1. Same thing with the ion cannons. You can link them all or do 1 at a time. And you can't actually fire all 3 guns at once. That's one of the decisions we made in Fate of the Galaxy. You can't link your primary weapons because that would literally drain all of your resources all at once. And throw off balance quite a bit. And we never really see it happen in the original trilogy either. So we'll switch to the B-Wing's turbo laser, which is a few shots of that took out that turret. We'll also check out the exterior of the model. And I'm getting shot at, so I should probably turn around and deal with whoever's shooting me. It's a TIE bomber, no less. So this will be interesting. TIE bomber has the most destructive capabilities in the game. But, again, it's probably the most sluggish craft also. So cockpit rotating, we'll get rid of this TIE bomber who's literally right behind me. He does not want to leave. And there's two of them. Oh, they have a buddy system going on. We'll just speed up as fast as we can, and then we'll show you the cockpit rotation. So I think they'll leave me alone for a second. So with the S-foils closed, you can see there's the S-foils right there, and then when they open up, the cockpit rotates and they're now below me. Oops. We'll close that. How the heck did I do that? Alright. Clicked on something that opened something up. Well, looks like it's not showing up on your screen, so that's fine. And I just died because I was distracted. So there's the B-wing. And if there's any other questions, can answer those or do one more thing, but if not, well, that'll probably end the live stream for today. I'm going to work on fixing that bug for the V38 where the display gauge popped up in the wrong spot, but other than that I didn't notice anything too crazy for bugs. And as always, thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll end that there.